We're going?
Yeah.
Is that thumbs up means we're going? All right, pot of gold, everybody. We're back. Look at that. There's already people that must have had the notifications going. I can already see people joining into the live chat.
Can we ask them if they can hear us?
Yeah, message. Type in the chat. I know you're out there. Who's our boy? I just blanked on his name.
Gerald.
Well, Gerald's in there, but anyway, pot of gold. Welcome back. I'm Brett. I'm here with Mike, Grant, the intern. Look, we're in Studio E. It's D.
Maybe D.
It's been a bunch of studios.
Well, we went from Z to remote, so
yeah,
whatever we want to do.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back in
Moral
business.
of the story is back. All right, LSU college football season preview. Here we go, boys. We're back.
So who do we have here that's already commented in the YouTube chat?
Fearless.
My guy's up in this bit. Yeah. Okay. So he can hear us, obviously. So it looks like we're streaming appropriately through YouTube. We also have our old school studio Roadcaster set up in the new studio back in Louisiana. We're back home, all three of us together. Grant, you look like you're very into this Roadcaster. Are we screwed up?
This is weird.
Something happened?
No, this is just weird. We haven't done this.
Feels
so
good to be
long.
back.
It does feel good to be back. We're back for 8th season of Pot of Gold, 8th
Yeah.
year with an 8th national championship in baseball.
Shout out to the people on Tiger Droppings wondering if we were dead.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of those comments, huh? A lot of people enjoyed the pod, but then
Let's talk about
there's a lot of
I
people.
didn't mean to do that.
Well, no, there's like, do they talk about golf too much? Like, guys, we talk about golf at like the 2-hour mark of a very long podcast.
All right.
Are
I
you
just
checking
checked.
us
The
on-
audio's
okay.
working. We're
Audio's
good.
working.
The audio's working.
Yeah, and we don't know every player's name. That was a big gripe.
NIL,
We-
Michael.
We do not keep up with every single adjustment or change. We don't break news. We're not reporters.
Not yet.
We
This
don't-
is our year to be breaking news.
We don't pretend to be Matt.
I'm going to break news all day. T-Bob's out. I'm in.
That's fine. Matt Flynn is in.
Matt Flynn is in.
It's a
100%.
That's a rough crew.
About damn
Gerald.
time. Shout out Gerald. He's been sitting by his phone or his computer just waiting for months and months to get that notification.
You
we're
know how they
going
say
live.
like turn notifications on, listen for the bell or whatever. He's
Oh, yeah.
been that.
Oh, he
That's
he
good.
hammered that bell
That's
a
good.
long time ago.
We
Love it.
certainly appreciate that.
Eventually we'll have the camera set up
I was
and
about to say,
everything.
the next gripe's going to be like, well, where the fuck did y'all go?
Where's their faces?
There's no cameras. Well, we're going old school today. By the time football season rolls around, we should have this thing in fully operating mode. So
We are in person, if anyone was wondering. Like that.
Yeah, we're
I don't know
back
if that
all in
was-
studio.
We're all sitting in this room. We just don't necessarily have a camera for that.
all right, enough housekeeping.
Yeah.
We just won a national championship.
We were talking before. It almost felt too easy.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have to go through the losers bracket.
Little Rock, the only team that could take a game off us.
Going into this season, I really felt like this is going to be a heck of a year based on the roster that he's putting together. I did not think we had the depth at pitcher. Once
Paxton Kling left, I thought we were fucked.
Once it was evident that Shores is not your Friday night guy, because going into the season, it was like we got Chase Shores.
We
in the
talked
bump
about that on
Friday.
our preseason pod.
Yeah, exactly. That was probably our last show. But once that didn't happen, and then once Schmidt looked like he just forgot how to throw a pitch, I thought this team is good enough to make it to Omaha. I don't know if we have the depth in the pen to go all the way.
We didn't really have to touch the pin that much.
Yeah.
That's what saved us. It is funny, though. Like y'all talk about, I didn't watch I probably watched a half a game at your house when we were over there that one night at your dad's house. Other than that, I didn't watch any regular season games. So it's funny to see because I sit there and watch this whole tournament. I'm like, Shores is a dog. It's like apparently this dude everyone hated for a while.
What was everyone talking about?
Yeah, it's just very funny. It's just like the Thatcher Hurd thing from a few years ago. Like, dude, Thatcher Hurd's now. You're like, yeah, dude, he's good now.
You were probably blown away watching
like
101.
He has the nastiest
Oh my
stuff.
Same with Jacob Myers. Like Jacob
Yeah.
finding the zone. We kept him on a tight leash for just a few batters at a time, but that's all you needed. And obviously the majority of the people talking about Jacob coming back probably not going to happen because of just the tools that he has for the draft. But the Chase Shores situation is something I really want to explore here when we talk about how good of a job Jay Johnson actually did this season, coaching wise.
Yeah.
Like, there's no denying the coaching acumen that Jay Johnson has. Yeah, he's got a little like not phonyisms, like Grant. And you know how we talked about every year, he talks about so and so is the best reliever in college baseball. Thatcher Hurd,
Best coach, best
Guidry,
reliever,
and then this last press conference, he talked about Cowan is the best
closer,
best
relief pitcher,
pitcher in the nation.
Yeah.
Kate Anderson, best human on the planet.
He loves his dudes. He pumps them up. He inflates.
Yeah.
He recruits his own roster. I love everything about Jay Johnson. But I think the criticism that coming into it that people try to find is like, oh, well, you had Paul Skeens in 23, and you had Dylan Cruz, you bought Tommy White, whatever. This roster for this national championship, sure, you had a couple key portal players,
but so is everyone at this point.
Everyone has it, and honestly, Tennessee's dominating in that aspect. What we have had, what he did this season with the adjustments of Chase Shores going into this season, Guidry falling back with a back injury. Okay. You expected Chase Shores to be your Friday guy. Cade Anderson comes out and becomes a generational type lefty, starting on the bump on Friday nights. The situation in the outfield, returning Pearson, right? Yeah. Most coaches, seniority. Yep. He's played a national championship. He is no doubt he is locked in the outfield. Not so fast. We brought in Stanfield. You got a true freshman in Curiel, who he's been recruiting since, very well documented, since 7th grade. Jake Brown, who is an incredible talent. And then now all of a sudden you've got Ethan Fry finally turning the corner. What do you do in the outfield? And Larson.
And Larson from last year, yeah.
He was able to figure that out and get people to believe in the team identity and not the personal identity. That was a masterclass of coaching right there to figure out that rotation. Have Fry emerge, have Brown and Pearson capable of rotating.
Stick with Braswell.
Yeah.
The third base situation with Reeves and Braswell, playing that, like moving Milam to shortstop. That wasn't just guaranteed after last season.
That. Is his arm strong enough? Can he do this? Can he do that?
Getting Braswell to believe, and you know what, I'm not getting passed up. I'm just moving to third, and I'm going to be able to showcase my ability. If it wasn't for that move, we don't win this championship. Chase Shores not feeling as if, he's a bum now because he couldn't start, and becoming an elite reliever and winning a national championship for us. Like the batting order shuffle randomly throughout the season. There were so many things that Jay had to do and pull levers. I forgot what game it was, but I tweeted out and I told you guys, like, Jay is coaching his fucking ass off right now. Maybe it was UCLA.
He was one of the Arkansas games, or maybe it was when we brought.
It may have been Omaha game 1, or it may have been the tail end of West Virginia. I don't know. It goes on.
I think it was West Virginia. I think
it might have been the West Virginia game, but those games, he was coaching at an elite level. Like, we had great players, but Jay coached the shit out of this team.
So Jay, a lot of people criticized him, especially this year, because of the flip-flopping of the lineup. Every game, it seemed like something different.
He experiments
like, guys,
a lot.
It's all for a reason. In the rotation, when he did move Shores, I thought Shores was doing a pretty decent job to start the season. Like, you could tell he was struggling a little bit, but it was for a reason. Shores hadn't pitched in 2 years. And so literally Jay Johnson told us, he's like, we needed to get some tread on his tire. Like, he needed some mileage. He needed to, get a bunch of innings under his belt to ultimately be comfortable in the situations like we saw him in Omaha. Yep. And I mean, my God, he shined in his last, 9 or 10 outings. A few times he stayed out of maybe a little bit a batter or two too long, but for, 6 to 5, 6 outs, I mean, you're not touching that
it's
guy.
Great.
But to kind of go back to your original point, like, this is such a validating national championship because it's so easy. It's like Tennessee fans are insane, but it's like they come across my feed all the time.
We're the face of baseball.
Literally, yes. And this is such a because if you're a Tennessee fan, air quote, whatever, get in the mind of them, it's like, well, Paul Skeens, like you said, it's like, great, you got the best pitcher in the MLB when he was in college. Good job. And it's like, this one's just kind of a big stamp of obviously Anderson, and there's going to be MLB players on this team, but it's not these like multiple Golden Spikes finalists across the board everywhere. Well, it's just a very big like stamp on the program, I think, of like we're back to being the #1 program.
It's a clean, clear-cut brand, you know.
And so you should be here. And I think that's what's exciting is like we found a coach that understands the tradition, that
it
loves
doesn't have to be a once-in-a-decade team to make a run in Omaha. It's like we're going to be there.
He doesn't have to have that showboating team either.
No.
Like they do think they play the game the right way.
He's
he respects Skip Bertman.
Loves
he respects
Maneri. That are terrible.
He does it the right way.
I'm waiting for the day where he just hauls off and it's just like, Skip, this is my fucking team now, bro. Get out of here.
Just scooches the wheelchair out of the picture.
My field now.
Just wheels him just
Skip
outside
Berman, Jay Johnson field.
Like, what do I need? 6 for you to leave me alone? No. I love that their relationship is good and all that good stuff. He's a great coach, and we're very lucky to have him. But it is very clear that like this isn't ending anytime soon. Like this is he has set a precedent where this is going to be year in and year out where we're competing. Like if we're not in Omaha, we're scratching our heads. Like what went wrong here? Like this
feels like back when we were kids where we just assumed LSU hosted super regionals.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was like, well, obviously LSU hosts a super regional every year. I don't know
it's
who
like
comes
that's part
and
of
plays.
the schedule.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that team didn't because they just don't. We do because we decided to do it.
And I feel like we're creeping back into
we're
that
now
world.
in a new wave of that.
Yeah.
Where it's like a golden age part 2, which most programs don't get this twice. And I think we might be on the cusp of doing this shit again like we did in the 90s, which would be wild to document, and to enjoy.
It's getting to Omaha. Like we don't have to win it every year, but it's like get us there and it just changes things. Like things, just crazy stuff happens.
The casual people that just turn on Omaha every year, like, yeah, of course LSU's here.
Yeah.
Like obviously, yeah.
And now in the NIL era where you can entice a potential draft pick to stay or to not go to the draft out of high school and be a Case and Evans, be a Derek Curiel, William Schmidt. Like we're able to get these guys. Kate Beatty, like I can't wait to talk about him next year. But
even Milam, we stole Milam.
But look at Hernandez as an example, a dude from Indiana State or wherever. Yeah,
Puerto Rico.
He's from Puerto Rico, transferred from Indiana State, I believe.
Yes, you're correct.
Incredible home runs at Indiana State, a DH, but also played some third base. We put him at catcher, and in the beginning of the year, it was a bit rocky.
We were scared.
If you go back and you see it, it's a rotation between him and Cade, Aaron Beatty, and Cade was acting like a freshman. Hernandez was looking like somebody that hasn't really caught elite baseballs every day, right? And you can tell he was kind of uncomfortable. By the middle of the season, he was lights out. And then by Omaha, he was a staple in the lineup. There was no question that Cade was going to rotate with Hernandez. He was the guy. That's another development, and that's the assistant staff. That's Yeski and Jordan, being able to work together, that extension of that staff. Incredible guys. Yeski doesn't get enough credit. If you look at his resume, 2 national championship with Oregon State, Arizona. A national championship now with LSU, Omaha teams with Arizona. Yeah.
Is this the pitching coach?
A&M.
So didn't our pitching coach like leave
to Wes Johnson to go to Georgia?
Yeah, and everyone was all freaking out. Like, what a testament to
the replacement. Identification of talent, not only players but coaching.
Maker, for sure.
So we're in a great spot.
And here's
Kyle Peterson.
No, what I was going to say.
Here's a guy.
So perfect example too of this team, and I feel like this pinpoints exactly who this team was everyone understood their role. You kind of mentioned that a little bit. No selfish players. Someone like Cade Aaron Beatty could have came in here and been like, I'm the guy.
Have you watched his stuff with John Eads?
Unreal.
He's with being on this team.
Yeah, and just wearing the purple and gold. Him and Yaman. Yaman didn't even play.
Yeah.
And those 2 guys took it upon themselves. Coach didn't have to tell them. They understood the assignment of we need to be the dugout, the glue guys, whatever you want to call them, and keep this team together and just help have that role. And I think Jay always says this. He's like, my offensive plan. He actually has like a real game plan. Like a lot of teams, like when I was playing baseball, like we didn't have like a game, like there was no real game plan. Like I can't imagine there's many teams. Like I don't think Maneri's teams had like all right, in this inning, you're gonna pinch hit here. Jay thinks about this stuff so deeply, unlike any other coach out there.
But it meant nothing. It didn't apply to like the team we're playing.
Right. Jay has everything thought out. Like, I guarantee you, he had it thought out of like, if the other team's coach ever gets ejected, this is how we're gonna react. You know what I mean? Like, he probably has a contingency.
Before we dive into Scholes,
not
Scholes. Is that a Shrimp Howler Brothers?
You like that?
Is that Howler Brothers?
Yeah.
They're doing coastal gear now?
Yeah.
That's solid.
Yeah.
That's a really cool.
Cool. Do you see that, Cameron?
I wore this like a week ago, and like when we came over, and you didn't say anything. I was like,
I had never seen that
really
before.
thought I was going to get some respect from Mike from this shirt.
I like that. That's a really cool hoodie.
But yeah, I thought that was important.
No free ads, by the way.
No free ads, but we will take a discount code from the Howler Bros if it comes around.
Sure. Or what is the place that you showed me, Grant? The really cool comfort color T-shirts with all the badass
Alumni Hall.
Alumni Hall.
Yeah.
Really badass place for some Tiger gear.
Is that the link that was put in the group me a few weeks ago, or different?
No, I don't think he shared. This was a colluded effort.
Oh, this is a neighbors type of thing. neighbors type of situation.
I've got a confession to make about this Coastal Carolina situation. Obviously he was thrown out. We all saw that. I completely made up a story that he got an interaction before the game with the umpire. That was all completely
Did
made up.
Did that get some heat?
It got some circulation.
Because I saw it early, and I assumed that it was totally made up.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But
well, you know me.
I know, because that's exactly something like I would post of like, actually, I heard he pissed in the hallway, like as the umps were coming out. And so I knew, and I was like early on it. So I just gave it the heart, maybe the retweet, and I just moved on. But that makes me happy that caught some action.
Yeah. Where is it, Grant?
Should have tagged Mincy.
It's probably
Mincy would have so corroborated that story.
It's probably in a reply, but I started to feel kind of bad, but not really. But it did get some traction. I was just like, oh shit. I was hoping that Peterson or somebody that they're all full of shit up in the booth, like tried to make some excuse and like would go off of that tweet, but I guess they didn't.
It was kind of like whenever
that's it right there.
The national championship was playing, and I was like, I have strong sources telling me that NCAA is going to be announced with Jaden Daniels on the cover, and I got so many quote tweets of like, I fucking knew it, and like people tagging other people. I was like, I probably shouldn't have done this.
Yeah, dude. So what are your thoughts on the tossing of
I mean, the dude's obviously a little unhinged. I think it is a little ridiculous to like toss someone in that situation. I feel like you got to give him a lot more rope. And then in the third inning, as soon as he says something, you just fire.
Yeah, but that's Angel, dude. That ump behind the plate.
Angel Reese?
We're not getting into that.
We're not talking about the
Angel
Queen.
Hernandez.
Is it Hernandez?
No.
Cabrera?
Something to see. No. So my take on it is
Huggins.
So by letter of the rule, it was he had every right to eject him.
100%.
Now,
but time and place.
Hold on, but this
time
is time and place. I agree, and I understand.
But this is how these people act, man. They're like robots. Look at Danny Dickinson's out call after he got smacked in the batter's box.
Yeah,
by definition, it's like
right, exactly.
Can we have some type of
so great.
eye?
I'm glad you brought that up because what did Jay Johnson say immediately in his post-game press conference?
That he was itching. He knew that he was like, I knew for a fight.
He's like, I knew the team needed me. I didn't want, I know I can't argue after a replay. The team needed me to coach the rest of the game. He made a decision right there. I'm not getting tossed out of this game because that's stupid. Whereas what's his name could not control himself. Yeah. He was so angry about 3 pitches that were borderline in the first inning. You got to be able to contain yourself in the. I don't care.
Well, we were in the heads of Morrison from the get go.
100%.
Yeah,
but this little cocky asshole, dude. Like, I listen, Chanticleers,
they're just kids.
The Coastal team, I've loved them all year, and I did this on purpose partly because I don't have a lot of a life much anymore, but.
Welcome back home.
Yeah, welcome back home. I tracked college.
Thank you, Gerald.
I tracked college baseball pretty closely this season so that I could make smart bets in the off season or in the postseason. Did well there. Not going to brag. But
68%, is that good?
Coastal was one of my teams.
How many units, Mike?
I think we're up 12 units.
Ooh, that's a
nice.
that's a nice,
I think we're up 12.
postseason.
So yeah, we did well there. But Coastal was part of that. I did not expect them to be in the title game, but ultimately I thought that would be the funnest matchup of college baseball would be Coastal versus LSU. I loved it. I love the colors. I love the underdog mentality. I think the Carolinas in general produce the best baseball outside of the SEC. It's really fun to watch, yada, yada, yada. Fuck those dudes.
Yeah.
Like, by the time we had to play them, I was sick of it.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. You know, you don't want to give your opponent props and David versus Goliath, all that good stuff. But, like, dude, you have to at least answer the question and acknowledge that you are going against the elite program. You are going against the definition of college baseball for a national championship.
Because Tennessee's not in.
Respect your opponent. Give them the respect that they're due, but also acknowledge how big of a feat this is going to be. Walking in there acting as if we've been there before, it's no big deal, we don't ever think of them, etc. It's like, dude, you're just putting
I could see
bulletin board material for a team that doesn't need that, and then you go out there and try to like bark at our third base coach,
right.
like, bro, you're done. And we got him out of there in what, 4 innings?
Yeah. His shortest outing of the year.
Yeah,
that's something that you would expect, I guess, out of like Tennessee or
taking
Arkansas.
a breather to get another drink.
Arkansas or Tennessee could have sat there and said what they said. You know, like they could have, and it would have been more acceptable.
Yeah.
But also,
Mike, yes.
I also think, you know, I'm good. Oh yeah, where's
Talk, dude. Don't.
That's my cup.
No, I also think that it was a stupid question. Like
It wasn't
like these reporters that are in there, like, well, what do you think? Yeah, it's like, why are you asking stupid questions to catch them off guard? Like,
open the door for you to suck off.
Yeah.
So I mean, two sides to that one, but yeah, that's ridiculous.
I just tried to
I know. But the boys are back.
But let's get back to this.
All right.
LSU. You were saying earlier, like, we didn't think this might have been a championship caliber team. Like, I don't think we didn't know Ianson was going to be who Ianson was. We didn't know who Evans was going to be.
Didn't know about Evans.
We had an idea that Cade was going to be a starter. We
didn't think Fry was going to be.
Well, let's stick to pitchers real quick.
You got it.
We didn't know.
You can't get up.
We didn't know that. We thought Ianson had potential.
I hope you're cozy, by the way, because it's warm.
It is.
We can fan it and see what happens.
And you know, we talked about a few Cowan.
I thought
Newt contributed. Like he ate up some innings. I'm not saying it was.
I knew about Newt.
And the biggest thing was Rizzi, Cooper Williams, and Evans. Those 3 freshmen really solidified the rotation, the back end of the bullpen, not the rotation. The bullpen.
Evans is about to be.
He's our Friday guy.
Right. But he's also about to be like the heartthrob, the Joe Burrow, like everyone's going to love
Instagram edits on him.
Yeah. Evans is a dude. He looks like Tony Vitello.
He speaks well. Like he's
very well spoken.
He's well spoken.
How's his GPA?
He's smart, dude. He's a smart kid.
But that's the pitchers we didn't know. And then lo and behold, and then in the middle of the season, we were like, damn, Connor Ware's not who we thought he was. You know, this guy's not.
You were a Connor Ware fan. I never liked Connor Ware.
I wasn't a Connor Ware fan.
Loved Connor Ware. You want to go back? Let's go. You want to talk about Connor Ware? I was a Case and Evans guy.
I know you were.
And I said, 5th inning.
I know what you said.
Game 2 against Texas.
I know.
We're up 5-2. Ianson gets pulled. Ware goes in. I flip out. I say, hey, how many games do we need to identify that Case and Evans is your fucking dude out of the pen?
Yeah, I know.
Not Ware. And you were like, shut up.
No, and I said,
Jay knows what he's doing.
Jay knows what he's doing. Jay likes lefty on lefty matchups, et cetera, et cetera. Was it the right decision? Looking in hindsight, no.
In hindsight, it was
because
we learned how to come back from adversity, how to win a game on the road.
You're right. The team learned from that situation. Now, I still thought, and even when we had that discussion, that Connor Ware was going to be a starter in Omaha at some point, and he never made it there. Did. He never got an inning past like South Carolina.
Fucking no one really pitched in Omaha,
but also,
for our boys,
to our point, who needed another inning? when Anderson and Ianson gave you 6 or 7 plus every single outing, and then Cowan goes out, has a few bad outings, and then he shows you his nutsack. And then Evans and Newt ate up a ton of it. You just had guys.
But let's go back to the beginning here. Our 2 aces.
Yes.
Anderson and Ianson. That was not a discussion preseason. I know we talked about how we thought Anderson would be good. And
we didn't think
starter.
They would combine for 24 wins.
Listen, there is no way I would have called that Cade Anderson was going to be 1-1 in the draft.
No.
I did not expect that. I did not expect Anthony Ianson to be a first-round draft pick and a legend at LSU as a Saturday starter. I obviously saw the preseason rankings of Ianson and was like, okay, maybe this could be good for us. Hopefully he'll be in the rotation. I didn't think he'd be a staple name for decades.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like those were surprises. And then you shuffle Shores back into that deck as an elite bullpen guy. You find Kason Evans to replace Guidry as your go-to closer, and then ultimately build his way back into a starter. And now moving into next year, I mean, team number 9, 2026, Kason Evans Friday night.
I feel like Evans can do anything you ask him to do. That pitcher can come in any situation. He can come in the second inning, the first, like he can literally. He came in at all points of the season. He started big games. He closed big games. He came in after rain delays. I mean, that's another thing. Jay planned for there to be a rain delay in Omaha. Tell me I'm wrong.
No,
and it worked.
There is
masterful.
There's something about these teams that Jay puts together. And I get it. Baseball's different than football. These kids play a little bit more for the love of the game in comparison to the general consensus of football. Okay. Is that a fair statement?
I'll take that.
Say that again.
I forgot what I said. No.
Baseball players do it a little bit more for the love of the game.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a different culture.
On average, okay, if we're speaking in terms of numbers, baseball players in college
they have a higher GPA,
have a more love of the game compared to what the modern day college football players are playing for.
Yes.
Right. And even beyond that, though, there's something that sets Jay's teams apart, that even with transfers, even with guys that forego the draft and stay in school, there's such a cohesiveness and a bond to like want to winning a championship for LSU and for their brothers. Like the passion that comes out of a guy like Kason Evans, like almost crying going to Omaha as a freshman and being like, I want to do anything for this team. It's like, that's hard to find in 2025 anywhere. And not even in just sports, but to be passionate about something like that at that age is a reflection of their coach. And it's because the coach is that passionate and respectful of college baseball.
Yeah.
It's not just about him and am I the highest paid coach? Because he's not. He's not even in the top 5. You got Tony Vitello making 3 point something. Jay's making like 1.8. It's not about the money. Now he's going to get that bump and he'll get that money now.
Yeah.
But you never hear about that.
Right.
All you hear about is the chase for number 8, the chase for dominance, for LSU to be the brand, and for these kids to buy in and be a team and not worry about who's starting in right field or not.
And he really loves the fan, but like he
loves it.
He appreciates the fact that this is the most passionate baseball fan base there is. I mean, he was like, he's talking about after the game, he's like, you win a championship, and he's like, and LSU fans are just on another level.
What do you think about, speaking of fans, what do you think about this fight that's going on between the wrestling cowboy and I guess a Karen? Have you read this?
The guy that's at every game?
The guy with the wrestling belt.
Oh, the guy who always has the belt and is always on TV.
Guy.
He had a daughter that played softball at LSU, I think. I think that's what
I thought it was not daughter and was a different, like
he has a daughter,
or something. But whatever.
Now it's a daughter.
Member, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Everyone knows who we're talking about.
The guy in the cowboy hat that's like a big super fan that wears the wrestling belt. Apparently he got into it with the Karen in the stands. Now the Karen started a post on Tiger Droppings, which is probably a copy paste from her Facebook page, because it really dove into the ins and outs of their trip to Omaha and how they bought these expensive tickets.
And he ruined it.
And he didn't pay for those tickets. No way he could have.
Like, don't tell me that's what it said. No.
Apparently he started shimmying down as the game went on and found himself right behind the dugout, as one
as
would.
He does at every event.
As one would.
Yeah, T-Bob and Mincy did the same thing. I don't see anybody yelling at them.
But apparently there was like a sit-down thing back and forth.
I need to go catch up on that. I know that there was some discussion. There was some stuff going on.
It's fucking embarrassing.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
There's no room for that. Not when Jay Johnson's in the presence.
No, and I think the week, like earlier in the week, maybe the first round game, there was some drunk Karen as well, yelling at people for not, singing the fight song and stuff. And they're just like, hey, we just want to watch the game. And she's just going, you're a lousy fan, lousy.
I don't know.
But then you see the other people like, I've had nothing but good experiences with him tailgating, and I've never.
Wait, they interviewed them about the
No. People on Twitter were commenting like, I met so and so at other football games or here or there.
The Karen?
No, the guy.
Okay.
They met the guy.
I was trying to get you to say his name.
I don't know his name.
Yeah, but we can describe him a little bit better.
We can't. No, I saw
that. Gerald said it's his sister played softball.
I was going to say, I don't think that dude's old enough to have a daughter playing at LSU.
So let's get back. So we talked a little bit about the pitchers this year, the offense.
Let's talk football.
Wait, golf. No, we need to talk golf. One guy that I want to talk about, we haven't really even mentioned his name, is Danny Dickinson. Jay Johnson even said this year he's going to be picky in the portal. He's been picky in the portal at the guys. This year, everyone he hit on, basically. Almost everybody he got out of the portal was a hit this year. Dickinson being one of them. You don't have Dickinson, you don't win the championship. Defensively, lights out. Yes.
So
question.
No, not a question, but just I want to interject as you're mentioning Danny Dickinson and like the portal being selective. This time, it was July last year.
Yeah.
I was on a work trip in Cleveland, and I had just finished touring the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah, Cleveland, Michigan. And I was back in my hotel room digressing, slapped in some headphones, and was listening to an off-season Jay Johnson press conference. And he talked about how the caliber of athlete that we had on this 2024 team is not up to standards for LSU baseball. And I promise you, you will never see this happen again under
a Tebow, I promise.
It was a Tebow, I promise. And this was last July. And he talked about what he's about to do in the portal. And it's about to put LSU back to where it should be. And he vowed to never allow what happened in 2024 to happen again. Fast forward a year later.
Went on to win the national championship.
And we're talking about Danny Dickinson. We're talking about Hernandez, Stanfield, Ianson, Cowan. No. Yeah, Ianson, Cowan. The list goes on. But to think that that's just going to stop now because we won another one is egregious. Like Jay Johnson
Trains keeps rolling.
Knows what he's doing. I think the reason he's talking about being so selective in the portal is because, one, the roster limits have been shrunk.
Yeah.
And you have a core of this team coming back.
I was supposed to say, it almost feels a little like Brian Kelly, where it's like we had to go get portal guys.
Yeah.
But now we have our core. We like our guys. Now we're handpicking select few that we really like,
based on who doesn't come in from the freshman class, because this freshman class is littered with draft picks. We might lose like 3/4 of this class. That's when he'll be selective in the portal and be able to like kind of pick people off. But the majority, let's talk about the pitchers alone. You've got Kason Evans, William Schmidt, you've got Newt, you've got Guidry, you've got Cowan, you've got Rizzi. You've got Cooper Williams. That's just off the top of my head.
Mike just wanted everyone to know he knows the players for those.
I know
for
players,
the commenters.
But like that's a core group of guys that have elite experience, elite arms, and it's the bulk of your pen. And Sharon, this guy, the Devin Sharon kid that was supposed to be a starter that transferred in from St. Mary's, or I think it was St. Mary, and he tore his ACL playing a pickup basketball game. He was out for the year. He's going to come back. He could be a weekend starter. Yeah. And that's not even talking about portal. That's not even talking about incoming freshmen.
But look at what I told you this after the game.
Are you monitoring the chat?
Yeah, I've been checking on it.
I love how we got this beautiful setup just to have the roster in a font that no one can read on the TV.
D'Angelo Sanchez.
How many people we got in the
That's his
chat?
name. Thanks, Gerald.
How many people?
109?
109. I think Twitter bullshits the numbers on live views.
No, that's
they
all
dumb it
on.
down.
That's all on YouTube.
what?
They bring it down.
Yeah, they bring it down. No, there's just some things on Twitter. I'm just like, there's no chance 300,000 people are watching.
No, dude,
this.
that's like
Um,
that's a generation.
so-
bottom.
that happened a couple days ago. Up only from here, Mike.
No, that's what I was telling you.
Go for it.
After the game, after we won it, I was like,
Spitball.
this is incredible, Nate Yeski, pitching staff.
Yeah.
We only returned 4 innings of SEC pitching
Yep.
from last year.
Wow.
That's impressive.
And
That's a fun.
that
That's a
was-
fun fact I have
Wait,
not seen
repeat
online.
that?
So our returning pitchers on staff from last year's
Yeah.
team, we only returned 4 innings worth of experience from SEC games. SEC
Cade
action.
Anderson.
Cade Anderson was the only guy. He only threw it in about 4 and maybe
Anderson
one other
pitched
person.
more than 4 innings.
In an SEC game. He only pitched all the midweeks.
He was a midweek
Really?
heat guy.
Yeah.
That's an incredible stat.
Four
Can we
point-
check
it was-
that?
It's
Yeah,
like it's like when Jaden and Malik and all those dudes left and Nussmeier's walking out and they're like 98.2% of the production of last year is gone.
You don't need to check it. I'm kidding.
No, somebody in the chat can check it. But I did see that. I heard that and then I read it and I was like, that is unreal.
Grant's too excited. He's crowdsourcing
That's
his
unreal
job tonight.
that
Carter,
this-
it's time for you to
this
start
stat-
checking.
It is time. But yeah. And then wait, one other thing about Danny Dickinson.
Mhm.
Played the whole postseason with a broken, is it hamate bone, Doc?
Hamate.
Hamate?
Hamate bone.
Hamate.
It's a little peculiar that it's a
For sure.
bone
Which
that
is
I've
the
never
same
heard
bone,
before.
same bone that Warren Morris broke when he hit his home run. Had broken when he hit the home
Wow.
run.
Yeah, Danny fell off.
That's why. Now we know why.
But do we also think that's why he did that little BS? toss?
That's my first. That was my first
Possible.
thought.
Because it was
that
his
was
right.
a tough
Remember,
double play.
it was his right hand that got hit.
Because I was going to say, I don't think I saw a single error in the entire
Yeah.
postseason. But the first thing I thought of was that weird dainty throw. On
Well,
the
then we
double
were
play
like, why
ball.
did he move down the lineup? He's struggling. Why is he bunting so much?
But even some
That's
stuff in
why.
the field, like that little, like as Brett
Yeah.
put it, the dainty play. But then also he cut Milam off on a couple plays where like the
mine.
the communication wasn't there. He
Mine was like, no, that's
he
mine.
mined him well past second base. Like it
Yeah.
was strange.
But in the first inning, he goes and makes that play, cuts behind the bag, backhands it,
It's
makes
good.
that strong throw.
Final game,
We
yeah,
didn't
was
catch
elite.
it,
And
but-
then he played his part. The last play of the game, he gave it to Milam. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's end this.
That's true.
You know,
But Jay even said he on his interview yesterday, I think he was talking about Dickinson. He's like, that's why we bunted him with nobody out in runners at first and second to get to Stanfield,
Another
or to
coach-
get to Braswell
yeah, another coaching point. Going from a power team
to small ball.
to small ball.
Yeah.
And
Throughout the whole year, he went back and forth.
Chameleons.
well, just being able to, like, every single player in that lineup can bunt
Yeah,
at an elite level. Like
Yeah.
like they were perfect at executing the bunt. I remember when Maneri would try to get in this small ball game and like the bunts,
too
we could
small.
never get them down.
no, Maneri's teams literally got too
like we
small.
struck out every time we
Our
tried
guys
to
were the
bunt.
size of your microphone stand.
That's a pretty big
Small ball. We literally had
Some
small ball.
girth to it.
Yeah.
It's a great team.
What a
Shout
shout out
team.
Bear Jones. Every
Yeah, I was
time,
gonna say, when are we gonna talk
Man.
about the dump truck?
every one
Yeah.
280 pounds can't be accurate.
They said that way too many times.
too many times, but
And what does that make Ethan Fry?
yeah, exactly. See, like the Undertaker, like 330.
Rose Pine. The folks in Rose Pine will never forget him.
I'm just glad we don't have to hear Rose Pine ever again.
Oh, we will. He's coming back,
Oh,
Mike.
He's not coming back.
He's coming
You
back.
think he's coming
You've heard
back?
it here first.
No, you don't think he's coming back, but now your angle,
I just told you he's coming back.
he's not coming back.
He's not coming
I
back.
think he.
You do not think that.
Yes,
You-
I do.
But you think there's more than a 0% chance.
I think he's coming back.
He's not coming back. What leverage does
didn't-
he? What leverage
played-
does he have?
He didn't play a single.
But he's not at, like, if he stays, he doesn't have
He'll
have the
Does he
leverage
start playing first? Does
to
he
say
actually
I'm going
start-
back to college. Like, he's going to get what he gets from the draft regardless next year. Well, right now he can play
He-
this little game with the bonus structure.
He can work himself up higher in the draft.
They don't need film. The dude does every
But
showcase.
okay, how many? There's
250. There's like
there's a lot of those. There's a lot of those guys. There's a lot.
380.
If he was left-handed, I would think differently. But he's a right-handed, big,
dime a
tall,
dozen, Mike.
Exactly.
If Fry
Just
comes
like
back,
Jared
pencil us
Jones.
in.
That's why Jared Jones didn't get
Print
drafted.
the shirts.
If Fry comes back, print the shirt.
But that's why Jared Jones didn't go in the draft last year, because they're dime a dozen giant first basemen that can hit home runs.
But Fry is an outfielder as well. He's an elite fielder.
I understand,
He's got
but
speed.
Is he? I didn't see him do any of that.
These scouts don't just watch LSU baseball. Like they recruit kids out of high school, dude. There's showcases. There's these Cape Cod tours. They know about Ethan Fry.
We all saw the Freddie Prinze Jr. movie.
We'll see. I think there's a shot he comes back.
No.
I'm not saying.
Now you're saying there's a shot.
No.
Now you're
you
saying
cannot.
that's what I said you thought.
No,
that there's a chance.
You did say that. That's why I said that. No, I think there's a chance. It's not a done
It feels
deal.
so good to be back.
It's gonna be.
It feels so good to be back.
I don't think. Yes, if someone drafts him in the first 4 rounds, 5 rounds, which I don't think he will be drafted that high, yeah, he's probably gone. If he's drafted closer to like round 7, 8, 9, 10, I think there's a chance he comes back.
I play devil's advocate here. I feel like coming back at first base kind of eliminates his ability to showcase his talent in the field. He doesn't have a spot in the outfield.
Jay could do his shuffling.
Jay can do what Jay does. Jay does it again.
I'm just saying.
It'd be nice if he came back. I think he could.
I don't want to get my hopes up of Ethan Fry.
I don't have my hopes up.
Okay.
I just think there's a chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
I just think there's a chance that he comes back. But I get what you're saying. Like, you won a championship, go out on a high note. You did well.
Stock's never going to be.
But it's
higher.
like, dude, it could literally be. He could be Jared Jones. Like, it's his team next year. Jared took it upon himself to be the leader this year. Took his team to Omaha.
Look at it from a Major League Baseball perspective. If I'm trying to get a kid to sign with me, and I've got these different tiers of signing bonus structures put in place, and I want to just lowball you, but you tell me, you know what, coach, that's great, but I'm making X and X and NIL deals back at LSU. I'm staying put, right? Okay, well, actually, we'll up it. We'll go to this tier. We'll go to this tier. That's the leverage that he has. He stays next year. He has no more leverage now. He has no threat to return. I don't know. I'm just saying I think he's going to be advised to go.
Yeah.
Well, Grant, you've brought Grant down to like a 4% at this point. Truly impressive work.
I just don't. I think him not playing anywhere else means more than we think. Like him
here's the crux in all this is Jay Johnson. I think Jay
can convince him.
Jay does weird shit where like he gets kids to buy into
promise a Friday night starter.
You kind of picture him as like, okay, he's Hayden Travinsky, but he's not. He's 10 times better athlete than Hayden Travinsky. You know what I mean? But like that's the role he kind of had.
I think it's also
Hayden played defense.
It's also wishful thinking from a fan's perspective.
It's definitely wishful
because you and I both have been following Ethan Fry since high school and know this is what we should have been seeing for a few years. And we finally got it, and we only got it for one season.
Yeah.
And we want more.
But we got a championship out of it.
Yeah. But we could have had some more from this. Like Fry.
Last year he could have helped us a lot.
Yeah.
To circle back to Bear Jones, 2 things.
Yes.
Shout out to him for wanting to swing at every pitch that's ever been thrown.
Yeah.
And 2, shout out to him for like getting the hit as soon as the entire world's against him. Like Tiger droppings melting. This is the worst hitter in the history of LSU baseball. Here's a home run.
Yeah.
That Arkansas
Here's a game-winning single.
Let's take a step back. We haven't even talked about the Arkansas game. I mean, that was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Finally changing his arm sleeve from pink to gold and breaking his slump.
I can't talk about it.
I'm not a fan of the tiger stripe, the arm sleeve.
You like the pink better?
No, I just feel like I go solid. Like the tiger sleeve,
I thought
it's a little much.
But remember, if you
it was very discreet though. It wasn't a loud stripe.
But remember, Tommy White started this whole thing.
He started with the pink.
And I mean pink, yeah.
I don't like the pink. I don't like it. I don't mind it.
It's excessive. It has nothing to do with anything.
But the second you go in a slump,
unless it's October for breast cancer awareness,
but it's not.
I know they just did it just to do it.
This is the same thing. We start making these excuses based on morals. Like, oh, Derek Curiel's songs about Jesus. I get it. but that doesn't mean I have to like Kanye West now. Like, you see what, like, and he chose that song because it's Kanye West.
He said it's because of Jesus.
Yeah, man. There's been a billion songs made about Jesus well before Kanye decided to do it. All I'm saying is, if he would have gotten in a slump, we would have been calling for him to change that lullaby a long time ago.
The fans loved it.
They bought into it.
Yeah, because he
Those
was
are
good.
the same idiots, though, that buy into.
Michael is so adversarial tonight.
I hate the
so
song.
anti.
I hate the
Curiel
song, and you won't find someone that's more into his
how about
purpose.
this? I learned.
I love it. I love that he is.
I thought you were gonna say I love Jesus.
No. I do, but like,
wait. You don't love Jesus?
absolutely do. But
Oh.
I'm saying I love everything that Curiel is
I
trying.
thought this was a pro Jesus podcast.
That he is standing for, his dedication to God, the whole thing. It's amazing. You don't have to play a lullaby when
You
you
can't
go
throw
for that,
Kanye
dude.
into Jesus,
and it's Kanye.
when his wife runs around naked.
Like, that's the thing.
Yeah,
It's a
double
Kanye
standard.
thing.
I get it.
It's a
So
Kanye.
I didn't
thing.
know it was even a Kanye song until yesterday.
Yeah. I don't know, man. This guy's like, he's like a Nazi someday.
Curiel?
No.
Oh,
Kanye.
How about Curiel? He might be the next.
Curiel's going to be
Dude,
insane next
Ben-
year.
Ben McDonald said Curiel is the best freshman he's ever seen at LSU, and he said that's up against
All of them.
Bregman and Cruz.
Yeah.
Let's talk about from 2000 on, and he said that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's because of his vision of the strike zone. Like,
That's crazy,
he
and
does-
his sign language
his
after
sign
every pitch.
language is second to none.
It's so good. He gives you that little curveball change.
All of it.
All
and then
of
he
it.
gives that little bottom lip pucker as if like, no big
He's
deal.
got a nice
We're
dude.
fine, guys.
No big deal.
Yeah, we're good.
His skin tone though.
Where are we going here?
I was with you.
How about the
What?
dog?
I was with
let's
you.
just 180 that. How about
I just
that
thought he has
dog?
great complexion.
He's Hispanic. So is half of our team. We're
Great.
from California.
Great complexion.
Yeah, that Arizona
Like,
vibes.
it's awesome. We are so multicultural and
Multicultural. That is why we win. Jay Johnson's multicultural.
yeah, he doesn't just park it in
Maneri
Rummel.
was
Yeah,
definitely
we
not.
don't sit at Jesuit and Rummel all day.
Maneri was not a multicultural coach.
No,
No,
our
but, like-
shortstop's going to be from Rummel for the next 20 years.
Right. Like, we are MLB-esque. Like, we make
Yeah.
sure we touch.
We had Puerto Rico.
We had a Puerto Rico.
Yeah, Puerto Rico.
Danny Dickinson from a sperm bank.
He was also Mormon, I believe.
Yeah, Utah.
Yeah, he's a Utah guy. I didn't know Danny was bald.
Dude, his hair,
Didn't know that.
he looks so good with a hat on.
yeah, look at a little
Not
earring.
without that.
It was a fun team. It was a really good team. It's going to be a
Milam?
memorable team.
Milam Hispanic?
Yes.
Yeah. Milam's a dog.
Milam's
Milam's
dad.
a vacuum over there.
Milam's
He's
dad.
good.
He's fucking
For
good.
one-
If we get him again next year.
For one, Milam's dad has Chris Blair going in his ear during the games, which
And he's also got Chris Guillot screaming, "Yeah!" right in his face.
wanted to move him out of the way so bad. It was just like, guy, my son's up to bat, and like he's got to break a slump right here in Omaha, and he did, and it was beautiful.
Dude.
And he's so good.
I did
Milam's
the numbers.
amazing.
I did the numbers. He his going into Omaha on the season, he was batting
You don't need to do that anymore. You don't need to do the numbers.
270, 260, something like that in Omaha, or from Little Rock on,
Yeah.
from the regional on, he batted 380 or 390 in the postseason, 11 games. He was our best hitter in the postseason.
He doesn't run to first.
I saw that post. He jogs it. He could have
I
been
never saw a
standing.
post.
He's-
I don't know what you're talking. I don't know anything about a post. That's my opinion.
There was a post.
no, but
he's not fast.
He didn't jog to first. Like, he didn't even run to first. That wasn't the first time he's done that, though. Like,
Habitual.
he does that a lot.
You know, Brett was telling me.
But my point is, Milam is the type of kid, it looks like, oh, we're in Omaha. Now I'm about to become the best hitter on the team.
Yeah.
Like, he picks and chooses when he wants to be elite.
We're kind of cruise controlling.
Yeah.
My 80% is
Hits
better
into
than
a
most
double
people's.
play. He's going to trot to first, with a rolling walker. Like, he's a pro. He's already in the pro leagues. I think next year you're going to see a different Milam. I think it's like, this is money year.
Better. He can't bat 290 next year.
No, he's going to be fine. He had a sophomore slump. and he got out of it in Omaha. Like
and
no better.
Won, and we won with him.
Milan's going to
Because
be
of him.
elite. Curiel's a draft eligible sophomore, which sucks. So he'll be gone after next year.
Oh,
He's going to be elite next year. He'll win Golden Spikes.
I didn't know that.
Heard it here first.
What about the 3 freshman pitchers? Do we know?
Evans is with us for the
3 years?
haul. Yeah.
Rizzy and Cooper?
Pretty sure those are with us as well.
That's good.
The whole time. I think Pearson
will be here for 17 years. Coach loves him some Pearson boys.
Yeah, he does, but like
he'll DH.
He'll DH
because Fry will be at first.
Fry's not coming back.
Little Fry, Curiel 1-2.
Second base will be the transfer Dardar from around here.
He's from Holy Cross.
Holy Cross, yeah.
All right, so let's before we go into 26, let's digest 25. And let's just regroup for a second. Brett, you haven't said much. And I know you didn't follow baseball all year. You only follow postseason ball. How exciting is this for you as a fan of postseason baseball?
It was fun to watch. I told you, I guess it's just like winning game 1 in Omaha. But it almost felt like it was too easy. I was like, there needed to be more games. Did we not need to beat more teams? I think I missed most of the UCLA game. And so it was
to your point, once everybody started falling out of the regionals and the super regionals and like the elite, like Georgia, Vanderbilt, Texas, like all the big dogs fell off, Tennessee, it was just a wide open path for us.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Also, our game, we played 5 games in Omaha. That's it. I don't know, like 5 games doesn't seem like that many.
Yeah.
Right. We didn't like kill anybody.
No.
You know, like the other games we watched, like Louisville, Oregon State, like Arizona even, and UCLA, Murray State, they were like scoring runs and doing all these things where LSU was just like, we're going to pitch and we're going to have clutch hitting and we're just going to win the game.
Yeah.
And like we did that
very
5 times.
Systematic.
I will say I can tell I'm getting older when I was just heartbroken for Arkansas's left fielder. Like I could not have felt worse for a dude
The Canadian
just take one right off the fucking.
I was praying that was Omaha. I was praying that was the Omaha kid.
That would have been great. But oh man, that was just like obviously great for LSU. But man, how bad can you feel for someone for just ball hit right to you? I mean, the shortstop should have ended the game before we even got there. That was insane. But
you mean the Golden Spikes Award winner?
Yeah, he took the
from
spikes.
Him and his brother are from Hawaii. Did you know that?
I think I saw that once or 9 times.
I did hate that the entire post game and really the entire game was just like about Arkansas.
It was a little weird. It
all about Arkansas. Everything's about Arkansas. Like
feel bad for the kid.
But it's like, I guess, I don't know.
We made the plays.
I don't know, man. Like I feel like they don't do that to Alabama in football. I feel like they don't do that to the Kentuckys of basketball or whatever. Not Kentucky, but
they also only talked about the 26-game winning streak.
Right. It's just why.
And now their tune has changed.
I get
tune has changed.
We get well enough credit, and that's probably them trying to balance it. It's like LSU fans, shut up.
That's true.
Like
there was 50,000 of us in Omaha.
Right. But at the same time, like it's still exciting for us. Like pour it on us.
Yeah.
Bathe us in champagne.
The Empire State Building was lit up in purple and gold. That was kind of cool.
It felt like everyone I ever read on Tiger droppings throughout the last few months were just insane people who overreact because we just went in like a bunch of assassins. And like you said, it wasn't 17-2 or 17-10. It was just like, yeah, we're going to win 6-5. We're going to win 1-0. We're going to win 4-3, whatever, just like a professional. We go in, get the job done. It's like, yeah, this team's great. This is awesome.
All right. Future us. If we're about to be in a new golden era, we have to make an Omaha trip. We have to.
Yeah. What golf courses can we find out there on the way?
They have some on the plains.
But no, it would be a fun trip.
We do need to. Do we drive it?
Or at least Hoover, guys.
Do we drive it? Or do we plan
get the bus? I mean, maybe
I don't know. I think
maybe rent an RV.
I think those plans we can think about next February. But
I mean, my sister and brother-in-law just drove it. They drove back in one day yesterday. That's insane.
Buddy,
they left at 9 a.m.
Talk about driving cross country.
Yeah, you're right. So we should definitely drive it. You're so versed.
Driving to Omaha would not be bad at all. It's a straight
Yeah,
shot.
you put one of those in.
One?
7. Were
one,
we ordering
one sleeve.
order the Swedish 40 milligrams?
God, we should drive it and like record.
No,
like
I mean,
we
I
did.
think we're adult
That was
enough.
we didn't realize that was the good old days of in the back of the van while Donnie's about to drive us off the cliff recording a pod. In the
Yeah, I
back
wonder why
seat.
he wanted to drive so bad.
At the very end.
Yeah, he was locked into driving, even though he wasn't locked in at all.
the least locked in. The least locked in.
It's like, can we get up this hill? It's like, I don't know. No one can see anything.
The GPS says right, but there's a
dangerous.
cliff.
That was very dangerous, but it was a great time.
Definitely saw a bear.
But if you look at like the 90s, and let's pretend that it's 93 again. So we won in 91, just like we won in 23. 92 off season, 93 another championship, 2025 another championship. We only have, if we're on the path of Skip, like we only may have 3 more opportunities in this decade. So I know it sounds as if like we're about to rattle them off, but realistically, let's talk realistic.
Can I make a pledge that I will not buy a $5 Jello shot for the board if we do that? Well, 0 Jello shots, none.
Hopefully that's not a thing by then. I think it's played out.
Dude, they're shipping them to people.
It's
You can
played out.
buy them and get them delivered.
So Maneri made 5 Omaha appearances in what is he, 12 years, 13 years?
Let's just call it 12.
He made it to Omaha 5 times. He won 1 and played for 1.
Yeah, that's solid. I mean, Maneri did a solid job.
I know, but at this current pace, it's like
We're just elite now.
Jay should be able to.
Jay said he wants to retire here.
Didn't you the other day? You were like, is it 5? Or maybe Blake, my brother, was saying that 5. Like, how many more years is he actually going to be here? Is it 10? Got to be 10 years at least.
Minimum.
Yeah, I mean,
minimum.
So okay,
Baseball
so 10 years from now. So 10 years from now, you would imagine
these guys.
He's going to be putting those stirrups on for a long time.
So to answer your question, 10 years from now, right? He's going to give us 10 more seasons, minimum, right?
Minimum 10 more.
Let's just say 10 years.
Yeah.
He'll have to have made Omaha at least 5 times out of those 10.
At least.
And you would think he wins it at least 2 to 3 more times.
2 to 3.
So I think he can get to 4 to 5 total championships.
So
yeah,
I'm going to just
Which is insane.
derail
Which
this.
is insane.
Derail this whole calendar thing. Would you rather go to an LSU football away playoff game? I don't know, Notre Dame, let's call it something, or go to Omaha?
Wait.
Like make a trip out of like LSU, say LSU's first road playoff game. Would you rather make a trip out of that or Omaha?
Yeah, because I know we're going to get back to Omaha. I don't have no idea when we're going to get back to a road playoff game.
So if it's this year, well, you could do. Why not do both?
Yeah,
we got to have wars simmer down and have some stocks go back.
Personally, I would rather go to Omaha. And I know we would have more of them.
I think Omaha's a more fun trip because you're going to be sitting there chilling all day.
But also because like I feel like I'm just more into the baseball side of things right now.
For sure. Going to a away football game does kind of suck, especially when you lose.
Or when it rains.
At least if you lose in Omaha, it's like, all right, we're in the losers bracket. Let's fight our way out.
Yeah, you can
and it's just like, well, I'm going to root for, it's just like there's another game coming.
Omaha's
I agree.
the answer.
I agree.
But I kind of like to what my sister and brother-in-law just did. It's like I kind of want to get it over.
Rose Bowl National Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Still Omaha?
No. Rose Bowl National Championship and win that?
That would be sick.
Yeah. No, but Rocco's.
No, it would be a super fun trip.
I don't even care.
It would be awesome. It would be second to none. Except for a Rose Bowl National Championship.
I think I'd rather. I think I would look forward more to the road
back.
If we actually
Coaches
drove
USC home game.
If we actually drove, I think the road trip could be like fun, like core memory of just driving endlessly into Nebraska. And then actually being in Rosenblatt, or that's not Rosenblatt.
I feel like the flight to Omaha though, dude, is like an hour and a half and probably like $200.
Yeah.
If you book it in January, it was $1,000.
Fun up there.
No, it was $1,000 last week.
Yeah, at the last second.
But that's when you know. So
Yeah,
you have to plan it in January. You have to book it in
as
January.
shitty as it is, I think if you're doing Omaha, you kind of have to like do everything ahead and just fucking hope your team
Hope for it.
And it's
And
like
then
you
get
can
a
always
credit
cancel.
and wait. Then get a credit and wait for next year.
yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need to go either way. And we need to do Hoover for sure.
Hoover is dude.
But also Jay doesn't care about Hoover.
Do you remember that
doesn't.
time when
He
we
doesn't at all.
Not this year.
Paul loved Hoover.
Paul loved it. Even though last year, but you know what? Jay said, fuck it. I need to get in the postseason. And he almost won the damn thing last year.
Yeah, he did. But
like it depends on the situation.
Dude, when Hoover rolls
That's
around,
crazy.
Jay that's when he rests his players.
That's when he starts being, like Mr. Super Analytics and like starts mind gaming it hard.
He's prepping for the regional.
Well, I'm going to
Gerald
throw
is
this guy
just-
for 3 innings and then we're going to quit. We're just going to leave.
Right. If we win, that's amazing, but we're not worried about
Y'all know,
this.
like Todd Politz or whatever on Twitter is always posting the stats and everything.
Uh-huh.
Like Gerald is our Todd. Everything I've said, like Maneri's been here. Gerald, Paul coached here 15 years.
Yeah.
It was
Oh, he's a
4.2
super fan.
innings.
He's a super
It
fan.
was-
We need to get him
he's
a
our
wrestling
chip.
belt.
He's our chip in the
We
chat.
need to have him like called in and be like, no, like talking in my ear, like an earpiece or something.
Y'all
like
should
that.
hook up.
Yeah, y'all should
Well-
text. Y'all should be text buddies.
We should
I
hook up.
agree.
Let's talk about 26.
Oh, I thought you were going to say football.
We're close, dude. I don't know if are we doing a football pod tonight? It's an
I don't
hour.
care. I feel like
No, I think we're back. We can do football after later.
we're
another
vibing.
show. Like this is a national championship pod. We're back. We're going to be doing
Nussmeier's
this.
just going to win the Heisman.
I love how they went around the entire Barstool office asking who's going to win the Heisman, and none of them except for Ben Min said Nussmeier, and he's number 2 in the odds everywhere.
Yeah, that was weird. I
But
don't
they're
know.
also like all Penn State people, like Drew Lar.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, I don't know. Penn State's going to do what Penn State does. They're going to lose to Ohio State. They're going to get a home playoff game.
Did we all not watch the same game
Yeah,
against Notre Dame?
yeah.
They're not that good.
I don't know.
They're a solid team, but they're not going to just win the national championship. Like Penn State's not going to win the national championship.
I would honestly be surprised if Nussmeier's not like in New York. If there's a chance where our offensive line isn't as good and the numbers aren't as good and the running game potentially improves and the numbers aren't as good, but like there's no other quarterback I'd want to roll into this season with. Like fuck Klubnik, fuck Arch Manning,
Yeah.
Sellers, all these dudes. Like give me
Lagway.
Nuss.
Lagway's getting a big
Like
blowjobs. Right
I just
now.
no one's
No,
giving
what do they
credit.
call it?
He is really good.
Glazed.
He is.
He's getting glazed.
Getting the
Glazed.
glaze.
I think this is the year. I agree. Nussmeier's is going to be great, and he'll be in New York. But I think this is the type of season where, like, going into it, we're not talking about the other dudes that are going to be there.
I see
you
what
know,
you're saying.
like
Like the
the-
Ashton Genties
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's one of the like. I feel like Arch is going to be fine, but he's not going to be like somebody that you have to bring to New York. It's a possibility, but like a rando, I don't know. What's the Arnold kid, Jackson? The Arnold kid from Oklahoma that transferred to Auburn with Hugh Freeze. Like random
it's
players.
Jackson. Yeah, it's Jackson Arnold.
Jackson Arnold.
Yeah.
Like kids like that, where they transfer and they just like strike lightning in a bottle. Like
Yeah.
these are the type of seasons I
The
feel like
Mateer.
that's gonna material, you know.
That drives me nuts when like people put that dude over Nussmeier and like all these things. It's like there's no one's giving Nuss credit of like it's the first time he'd played in like 4 years and he's most likely going to take a pretty decent jump.
Maybe it's whoever Nuss's number 1 receiver is this year.
This whole thing is centered around this defense being elite coming into this year with Baker.
Well, yeah, but not necessarily for Nussmeier. Like
No,
Nussmeier,
but, like,
the
I'm
defense
not
being
gonna-
bad, it's like, well, we got to
I'm
throw it
not
because we're
gonna-
down 17-3 every fucking game.
Yeah, but I say
No,
the
but for-
defense being good can make his numbers lesser.
I think the shedding the light on, like, the reason Nuss isn't being talked about a lot is because people are doubting LSU.
Yeah.
They're not doubting
Yeah.
I'm
Nuss.
seeing too much love.
And so the
Your
doubting
boy Pickett or Pickell loves
he always
LSU.
has. And he's
I like the guy, but it's
I like the guy too,
scaring
but then
me.
if you pay attention, he does this for everybody.
yeah,
Like he was just
But
sucking off
they
air.
it just feels like I don't know. Just that's what worries me. I'd rather us be a little more under the radar because we're probably going to lose to Clemson, and everyone's going to be like, "Hey, Brian Kelly at it again."
Listen, so I think this defense though is going to be a game changer.
I agree.
No one's talking about.
I'm more
Perkins.
worried about the offensive line than I am the defense as a whole.
All right, this is
You're welcome, guys.
This is what's to come.
I switched it in.
We will be recording LSU football podcast moving forward. I do want to briefly touch on the potential for next season already. Let's talk about a lineup, position by position. Friday night starter.
All right, guys, it's been fun. I'll see you guys in a week or two.
No, do we want to skip this? I feel like we're vibing on football. That's fine.
I don't care. You guys can.
Here's the thing: we're not going to talk about this ever again until like next February.
Just let's go run quick, and then we'll hang out
it's
for
exciting.
Another 30 minutes, chopping it up about Baker and.
If you think about a Friday night Evans backed up by a second half, like middle relief, even closer Guidry, an Evans Guidry combo on Friday, and then you roll into Saturday, and let's say that William Schmidt turns the corner and becomes the elite pitcher that we all, and Jay obviously is begging to be. You get a William Schmidt on Saturday, and you've got a Cooper Williams coming in the second half, and then you have a Devin Sharon and a Cowan Sunday tandem. Like, that's 6 pitchers right there, 1-2 back-to-back that have experience, that are
And Newt.
And then you've got Newt.
Newt has no
Rizzy.
draft. I mean, I think Newt showed a lot of just, coach, give me the ball.
Yeah.
You know, got it up to 96. I didn't see that coming,
Dude, and he had a bad break, dude. He slipped on the mound.
Yeah,
And a bad pitch. You go back and watch that replay. He, like,
remember, he was recruited pretty high.
He was the number one pitcher in California.
And
Had some setbacks with injury.
here's, Newt's a guy that
So then
I'm not even worried about
the pitchers are good, but what I'm talking about, so you still need, though, Jay to go out and at least get a couple.
You need to
portal
get
guys.
another Cowan. You need to bring in like a Cowan type of caliber, a guy that had a lot of innings starting last year, and so you can multi-purpose him. He could either maybe be a Sunday guy or he becomes a dominant reliever.
Yep.
But because he was at a little bit lesser school, you bring in someone like that.
Yes, and then you hope that a couple of these freshmen that are coming in.
I don't even know the freshman. I haven't even looked at the freshman.
Right, but Jay's going to get a good freshman pitcher.
Oh yeah.
At least one from that crop.
We hit 3 from last year. You got to hit.
You're going to hit 1,
maybe
and then
2.
Maybe you hit 2 from the portal, and then the rest is just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
That's a solid 2026 crew. Let's talk about outfield. Outfield, you got Jake Brown coming back. That's a dude that's supposed to be top draft pick after next year. He's starting to rise to the top.
He should be your 3-hole hitter every
Jake
day.
Brown,
Yeah.
Derek Curiel,
Yeah.
potential Golden Spikes type of guy. Center field. Does Stanfield come back? He's a junior. Is there a reason for him to come back?
I mean, I don't think there's no real reason for him to come back. Does he come back because he loves LSU, because Jay Johnson wants him to come back? Like draft wise.
What's his draft looking like?
I think he could get. I haven't looked at the projections, but baseball guys love fast baseball players.
Yeah,
they love guys with dreads.
Fast.
You can't teach.
They love guys with dreads.
I love Stanfield.
He flashed a lot of leather. This year,
very
playing
clutch,
center,
very clutch,
and offensively, he proved a lot of people wrong.
100%.
Came up very clutch. He batted right at around 300.
And those are the intangibles that Jay liked about him. He even said that. He's like, look, a lot of guys passed up on this guy. He didn't have a great year at Auburn, but I saw something in him that I really liked, and I wanted to have him.
When Jay called me and said that you could play for LSU.
Stanfield is like a stone surfer in NorCal. It's wild.
Wiz Khalifa.
But he's from Tallahassee.
In and out.
He was phenomenal. I mean, God.
His mom was locked in all tournament.
But yeah, I mean,
speaking of, sorry to derail it, did you see the picture of all the wide receivers where their moms were dressed up? That got me really good.
I don't want to have anything to do with football recruiting anymore.
No, I told that
fucking clown shit.
But that picture killed me with like the one mom kind of doing some pass pro. Like,
you remember we made fun of the Florida dad doing it?
Yeah.
Now we got the nannies, dude.
But the kid was even what's his name? The receiver was like, Y'all ain't never seen this. It's like he wanted.
No, yeah, whatever. I get it. It's like
I told Mike, I was like,
They just tease you. That's
I
all
was
this
like-
is. It's
I was
for
like,
adults to
wait
get
till
pissed.
the moms are dressed up like that, and then they put them on the pedestal. And Brian Kelly's
Brian Kelly's fucking
grind.
grinding on him. Danny
Whatever.
Lewis.
Danny
Oh
Lewis.
my god!
Worked for Coastal Trash Construction. Trash pickup.
He's no Trey Green.
No, Trudez is going to be an animal too. That's going to be a red zone nightmare, and red zone is what we're going to thrive upon. That's one of our weakest spots last year. If Sloan can call the plays,
I know. It feels so stupid because of like how good and reliable Mason Taylor it was, but it just feels like Green is such a different like threat to an offense.
yeah, and you got Bauer Sharp.
Yeah.
So
The team loves. I've heard the coaches love him.
in the infield, you have Milam. But let's not forget.
Who's going to play third?
Let's not forget the big dog here. Cade Arambidi is going to be a dog.
Yes.
He's going to be an animal at catcher, and he's going to be a staple in the lineup. He will be in the top 4 of that lineup. Cade Arambidi, 100%.
I'm all in on that.
You're going to have Curiel, Brown, Milam, Arambidi. Those are going to be the top guys in your lineup. What's going to happen underneath that? I don't know. Who's at center, right? Is Stanfield leaves? Does Larson stay?
Yeah.
Can Larson play first? So
Does
now
Brown play center? I've heard people talking about that.
Curiel's playing center.
Larson's not going to move out of the outfield. Larson's going to transfer before he has to play first base.
Okay. Second base could be Dardar. I don't know if Dardar, though.
Dardar says he wants to play second base. When
Have
they
you
asked
seen him run? It doesn't look like, I feel as if Jay Johnson wants his second base to be like shortstop A, like B.
Well, then maybe he's third base.
Everybody that's played second for Jay is pissed that they're not playing short. Dardar can't play short. You know, like that's
such a funny name to be throwing in this. Like it's some like childhood nickname.
Isn't it Chase Dardar or is it
I don't know.
Dardar. It's like a fucking Pokemon.
Dardar Banks.
Dardar
Yeah,
cannot go
Chase.
against the water.
No. Chase Dardar used to pitch for LSU from that's where I got that from.
Anyway, Dardar is a good transfer that's going to play somewhere. Probably third.
He can hit.
He can hit very well. Probably third. So you have an opening at second.
Seth Dardar.
You have an opening at second. You have an opening potentially at third, depending on what Dardar does.
Pearson.
That's the
No,
thing.
wait. Reeves is probably coming back.
Maybe. Jay,
Where would Reeves go?
kick rocks. I mean, like we recycle people, dude.
Yeah.
I
Reeves can play. Reeves,
Jay doesn't play those games.
Reeves
you can be part of the team. We can need you at times.
But he wouldn't have used Reeves. Well, Braswell just didn't hit, but Reeves played a lot. I mean, Reeves actually did play.
Reeves was great in his role.
A good bit.
I think he is the type of guy.
Yeah, go get a third baseman. And
he's not a fielder. Like he can play third base out of necessity, but we brought him in for his bat.
Well, then maybe he's your second baseman. He's probably
not a fielder.
He's probably a better
fine,
second baseman
but
than third baseman.
We brought him in for his bat. And if his bat is not elite.
This is one of those things. It's hard to look at 26 when we literally like this is tough because the portal
you're
is going
bringing
to bring
up people like Reeves. I'm talking about the 100% locked in players.
Oh, you're saying there are unknowns right now.
There are unknowns.
Okay, got it.
But there's also a group of guys that are locked in positions, and that's a great place to be. Like we got that number one class with Jake Brown.
I see what you're saying. So you're saying we have like 5 guys locked into positions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we have an abundance of options at the other spots. We have portal players. We have incoming freshmen. We have guys like Reeves. Like we have players that are on the roster. So that's what the offseason is going to be about. But going into next season, our foundation is set with championship experienced, elitely highly rated players.
Yeah.
That have experience. That's a great place to be. Let's move on to football.
I agree. It's exciting. It's exciting to see where Jay's going to take us.
Yeah, we can do this every week if you want.
Oh, like sit up in your house?
Yeah.
Only every other week. It's a house rule.
We know how to do remote, but I think it's pretty tight.
No,
Hanging out in person.
Feels so much better to get back. We jumped on Grant way more live.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited.
Grant, you had a good pod tonight, dude. Like you got your baseball.
You were on.
Yeah, I'm done.
What are some of the comments? I can't read from here.
There's nothing. It's
Nothing good.
We're so back.
No, people are excited.
It's good.
Gerald's excited.
Thanks everybody for joining. This was cool. We'll dive in more. This offseason will be fun. Got a lot of hype coming up.
Too much
hype. When does the game come out?
It normally comes out in July. It's
already out.
Is it?
No, it's not already out. They've just started releasing the all the stuff about it.
Death Valley, #1 toughest place to play. Loudest stadium.
Accurate.
Tommy Fleetwood sucks.
We don't talk about golf.
We don't talk about golf anymore. That's on me. That's on me.
You know what? I think we need to have an announcement before we talk about golf.
July 10th.
We always do.
July 10th. We're like 2 weeks away.
Damn.
So we're gonna have to stream it.
No, I don't know if I'm getting it.
Give the people what they want.
I'll probably get this one. I don't know that I'll get everyone, but I feel like the step up from game 1 to game 2 could be a nice big jump of adding stuff they couldn't get in the game. Or
yeah, I'll probably get this one. Shout out to Adam, our big follower, Adam. Watching Fox 8 coverage after the game because you told me to turn it on.
Yeah.
Great coverage, by the way. Good interviews.
It's great.
But the Bayou Beer Garden in Covington, they had a camera set up in there. And there's our boy Adam, just like getting after it, man. Having a great time. So shout out. He's always in the scene. It's awesome. Where is that place? I've been out of touch for 3 years in St.
Right by the
Parish.
trailhead in Covington.
yeah.
The Covington Trailhead. By Lola's.
Coops Drive?
By the courthouse. No. By the courthouse.
Covington. Yeah. Okay.
Do you think we beat Clemson?
Yeah.
No,
I don't either.
Not right now.
I legitimately think LSU's a playoff team, but just the thought of going in and winning at Clemson when we never win first games, I just can't do it.
Beating Clemson would set LSU up to be like undefeated. Losing to Clemson is more realistic and sets them up to being like a 2-loss team that makes the playoffs. And I think that's more of an accurate depiction of what this team's going to be.
Do you think last season, with like every team losing multiple times, do you think that's the outlier or the new norm?
I think that's the new norm, but I
don't think every year.
I think the outlier will be teams that run the table.
Yeah, no, I get it, but it just feels like for so long it was like, well, these teams are undefeated, or like, anything, one loss is like you might be screwed, and now it's like 3 can get in.
Yeah,
but was that like a 1-year kind of fluke, or does NIL like completely change everything to where there's just like so many less elite teams?
Yeah, everything changes.
Oregon has to play Ohio State, and
it's
Texas
just a chess game of rosters. It's like you don't have that consistency for 3 years at a pop. It's like if you land that 5-star quarterback and you have him for 3 years, it's like your team is probably, like whoever it is.
Or
Matthew Stafford lands at Georgia. Georgia's going to be in discussion for like 3 years, right? Tebow at Florida, like they have their spurt because it's Tebow. Like you could go, the list goes on. Now it's like he could be there 1 year and then the next year he's somewhere else and they have their run. And I think it's going to be a revolving door. Like it's not going to be like there's going to be losses across the board. I think LSU opening against Clemson is one of the most difficult tasks you could ever ask for. This is going into a night game and their Death Valley. Dabo has been in a similar situation to Brian Kelly of like, you better produce or you're out of here, even though that you have multiple, championships with us and appearances, etc. I think Dabo has to prove it. And he's got a great team coming back. For the first time ever, he dipped in the portal and shored up a already elite defense from last year. He's got Cade Klubnik coming back. Not that they're going to run the table and win the championship, but like if you were on the opposite side of the aisle and you were trying to be a Clemson fan that's reaching for hope, you're pretty confident going into game 1.
No, I agree. I just don't want to be sitting in a post-game pod and being like, just the offensive line wasn't ready for the crowd noise. And, it's like all that stupid stuff.
I want the intangibles to be there.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to be really good. I think it's going to be one of those games that comes down to the fourth quarter, and it just it's decided by just the pressure and the fans and
can you talk me into the O-line right now or no?
I don't know anything about these two transfers that are supposed to start because they didn't really get time in spring. Like spring was like a big practice, and they were like they weren't giving the transfers the first team reps out of the gate. So we don't know what the Moore kid's going to look like starting at center compared to DJ Chester. I mean, you might have some reps from practice. And then the other kid, Thompson, the transfer from Northwestern, he's supposed to just immediately come in and start at guard. He didn't come in till like the final few weeks of practice. Like we haven't seen what they're capable of. So I can't.
I just feel like I can talk myself into every position group. It's like quarterback, great, obviously. Running back, it's gonna be hard not to see Josh Williams out there.
I think the interior is going to be fine. I think between DJ Chester as a sophomore, the two transfers, Moore and Thompson, you're going to have a multitude of other players there. I think you're going to find three. You're going to find two guards and a center that can perform and do it well. Tyree Adams and Weston Davis, the two tackles, it's such an unknown because you've had bookends for 3 years.
Yeah.
And so they don't like Weston Davis looks the part. Tyree Adams is on the fence for me. Like from a visual standpoint, it's like this dude looks like he can get tied up by anybody. And that worries me a little bit. But I could be completely wrong because we don't know. There's no sample size. Will Campbell and Emery took up every rep. Like we don't know what these kids can do.
Yeah.
So no, I don't know. Brad Davis recruits well. I would have been happier with better development of last year's team.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, so that scares me. But I think it's such a point of emphasis. And we brought in an extra coach from Florida State to be the run game coordinator. Like we brought in a coordinator of the run game.
We can't just hand it to 27 on 2nd and 10.
Right, but I don't think it's just schematic. I think it has something to do with like enhancing the O-line's capabilities.
He's back.
So the emphasis is going to be there. We'll see what happens. Right now in June, I'm not super confident about winning the game at Clemson.
Yeah.
If we are talking 2 weeks beforehand, I will probably be convinced by then that we'll
be trying to drag you down,
pull it off.
Like I said, I think
but right now
it's a playoff
we
team.
have months to talk about this.
I know
they are a playoff team. Yes.
Just haven't talked about it in a while.
Kate Anderson's walkout song was also banned at the College World Series because it was a Kanye West song.
Breaking news.
Nice.
Interesting.
That's fine.
Breaking news.
That's fine.
That works. Yeah, not a fan of any of the songs. I'm not picking on Derek. Like Jake Brown, Shakira, Hips Don't Lie. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
These are kids, Mike. They think that shit's
Then
funny.
what are you listening to Shakira for?
They're kids.
They're not. They're not children.
Yeah. Okay. They didn't grow up listening to the same music we did.
Well, we grew up listening to Hips Don't Lie.
Very much. Very much so.
Ricky Martin, you know?
That's my point, is like they're trying to be cool by picking something like, ooh, that used to be a great song. But even back then, the dudes were like, no, man. Not the pick. Not it. All right. Am I the only one talking?
Are we out of here? Thanks to everyone joining the live chat. Good to be back. More to come.
Over now.
Cross the street from your storefront cemetery. Hear me hailing from inside and realize I